Before we get any further, this video contains spoilers for The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 13. If you haven't seen it yet, we highly recommend you head on over to Disney Plus and watch it before continuing with the video. If you're all caught up or just don't care, let's dive right in. We're back again with yet another episode of The Bad Batch. We'll be the first to admit, we thought this was going to be another treasure hunt at first, but we were pleasantly surprised with a much more interesting episode. Instead of treasure hunts, we got to follow the crew to Pabu, an island paradise that's half Moana, half Greek island, where they ate, had fun, made new friends, and rescued everyone on the island from a massive tsunami. All in all, a very pure, wholesome episode, and we're so very sure nothing bad is going to happen. Except, not really. This episode might seem pure and wholesome on the surface, but a horrible storm is coming, and the Bad Batch don't even know it. As we've discussed throughout the season, the entire reason Hunter and the rest of the squad are doing any of this is Omega. From fleeing Kamino to resisting the Empire to working for Sid, all of it was done to help ensure she had a better future. A life they never got to live, away from war and pain. Throughout the season, they've kept hinting at it. From Fee telling Hunter in episode 5 that they need more adventure in their lives, to Hunter telling the Wookiee Elder in episode 7 that he hopes Gungi and Omega could live a life away from war. Omega's happiness is their ultimate goal, and in this week's episode, it seems like their prayers were finally answered. Charmed by their gruff geniality, Phil decides to lead the crew to Pabu, the secret island she calls home. There, the crew met Shep, the island mayor, and his daughter, Liana, who becomes an instant friend to Omega. The adults drink and feast, the kids run off and play. For the first time in perhaps forever, the Bad Batch are somewhere safe, somewhere they don't need to hide their identities, somewhere where they're accepted and welcome. It isn't just Omega that this has an effect on. Even Hunter, Tech, and Wrecker seem immediately infatuated with the place. We're almost even shipping Tech and Fee, which is as preposterous as it is hilarious. Even after the scare with the tsunami, they don't change their minds. Throughout the episode, both Liana and Fee comment on how hard it must be to move around all the time, and when the sky brightens and they can begin assessing the damage, Hunter decides that, yes, they're staying, and the team agrees wholeheartedly. Even if they seem hesitant to believe they might finally be done running, the thought seems to make them all happy. We'd be happy for them too if we didn't expect everything to go to Sith real soon, and Sid is almost definitely going to be behind it. At the beginning of the episode, Sid made a short but memorable appearance. She sent the crew a transmission very clearly telling them to return to her and that they didn't want to cross her. She was even kind enough to explicitly state it was a threat. The episode developers made an excellent call to have the audio dip low throughout the recorded message, making it sound far more menacing than Sid's somewhat thin voice usually does. When we covered episode 9, we talked about how Sid was finally showing her true colors, just as Malegi had predicted all the way back in episode 4. Up until now, Sid was playing nice because the Bad Batch were useful and cooperative. The moment they decided to cut her off, however, after she betrayed them first, the mask is off and we're seeing her true colors. In reality, Sid is a Trandoshan through and through. The moment she perceives an insult, she must take revenge. Other people might cut their losses, but Sid seems unwilling to let them get away with this grievous offense. And as any good criminal knows, you don't make threats you don't intend to keep. Sid means business, and she's coming for the Bad Batch one way or another. Before we go on, we'd like to touch on the concept of tragic irony. In ancient Greek tragedies, tragic irony was the term for when the audience knew something the actor on stage didn't, and that knowledge let them know things were far different from what the character assumed. This week's Bad Batch episode is filled with it. Unlike the cast, we know what's going on behind the scenes. In the last 2 episodes, we've seen the pieces starting to come together from scattered corners of the galaxy. In episode 11, we had Dr. Hemlock taking over the cloning experiments for the Empire. At the former Kaminoan Prime Minister's suggestion, he's planning on using Omega to get Nala Se, the chief Kaminoan scientist, to cooperate and share her knowledge. In episode 12, we saw Crosshair get pushed over the edge and kill an Imperial officer, only to get imprisoned and told that the Doctor will see him soon. The woman administering the drugs they used to sedate him was the same person assisting Dr. Hemlock in the previous episode, so those 2 separate threads have already tangled. While the Bad Batch rest and recharge their batteries in a quaint little paradise, the Empire is looking for them once more. That's the tragic irony of it all. Our heroes feel at peace, but we, the audience, know that the peace is going to be incredibly short-lived. Although we don't know how it's all going to fall apart just yet, we can still make a few educated guesses, and it's not looking good for the Bad Batch and Pabu. So far throughout this season, we've been trying to predict what comes next. Most of it was just following the idea the writers seem to be going for, but at this point, it's not even really a prediction anymore. Unless the writers are setting us up for some incredible plot twist, they've all but told us how the rest of the season is going to go. Sid already made herself very clear. She is threatening them, and when they don't come running back to beg for her forgiveness and continue serving as her lackeys, she's going to turn on them. In the previous season, she talked about how the Empire would eventually reach her world too, and that they all needed to prepare for the moment their operation would be shut down. We believe Sid will kill 2 Oro birds with 1 stone and rat the Bad Batch out to the Empire. That way, she gets some reward, fosters some vague good relationship, and takes her revenge all in one fell swoop. And though the Empire would probably be interested, sending a force after any random rogue clone units would probably not be on their list of priorities normally. Rampart cared because he didn't want them divulging the truth about what he did on Kamino, but the rest of Imperial Command don't really care about Clone Force 99 since they're staying out of the Empire's way. But we know who does care. Dr. Hemlock. The good doctor needs Omega to force Nala Se to cooperate, and he would be very interested in hearing about where they are. Fee may believe her island home is secret, but we wouldn't put it past Sid to have placed a tracker on her before. You know what they say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, and Sid, it turns out, only really made enemies. With Sid ratting them out and Hemlock after them, it stands to reason that those threads would tangle together as well, resulting in him knowing where to go. And now, he has the perfect tool to use against them. Crosshair. No matter what he's done in the past, Clone Force 99 still care about him. Tech outright says so in episode 9 when he talks about how Crosshair and Echo both picked a different path that he doesn't agree with, but has to respect. We're confident that Crosshair will be used against them either as a hostage, bait, or worse, controlled by some mind-altering drug so he can get close, then kidnap Omega or kill the rest of the team. However it happens, it's not going to be pretty. We'd even be willing to bet that Pabu will be destroyed during the climax of the season, much like Kamino was last season. In a way, it's poetic. No matter where they try to hide, they'll never be able to live a normal life. Not while the Empire continues to rule the galaxy. Would also not be surprised if the season ended with Hemlock dead, Crosshair reunited with his team, and Pabu in flames, leaving the Bad Batch unmoored and with one hell of a grudge to bear against the Empire. Whatever comes, the tension is rising, and we're here for it. But what do you think? Do you agree with how we envision the season continuing and ending? Or do you think they'll introduce some plot twists to veer off the predictable path? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.